were in Poland, and it was Shabbat, and we were doing Friday night services, and that was a very, very powerful moment because we had just come back from one of the camps, and it was a very somber day, and we witnessed sites of such immense atrocity, and to come back and to dive right into Shabbat and embrace our religiosity was really powerful, and certainly one of those we're still here moments.
Standing together with thousands of people from all over the world in Birkenau on Yom HaShoah, singing the Hatikva blaring as loud as you can possibly imagine, with Israeli flags flying high in the sky. There is nothing more powerful than that moment.
I think it's the conversations with the survivors, hearing their stories, and those stick with you forever.
As I have seen with so many of my classes of seniors, the March has a profound impact on reawakening our students' Jewish identities, connecting and concretizing their values, and building their resolve to make a difference, to take Jewish responsibility for their people and beyond.
Pilgrimage is the oldest of all rituals in religion. And in Judaism, pilgrimage has a double meaning, because remember, the first commandment to our forefather Abram was Lech Lecha, which is normally translated as go forth, but also has a second meaning if you translate it literally, is Lech is to go, Lecha unto yourself. So on a pilgrimage, every journey outward is a journey inward.
Once it had become clear to most of us that this school year was going to be completely different than what we had hoped it would be and what we had imagined it would be, we also realized that meant that March of the Living would need to be different, that there was not necessarily a possibility that we could bring the students to the March, and so we would have to bring the incredible programming to the students.
It has been a collaboration from start to hopefully finish. We meet weekly over Zoom, and we divide and conquer all of the different responsibilities.
In partnership with leaders from the International March of the Living, the Museum of the Holocaust Los Angeles, and the Builders of Jewish Education, to envision and create a 2-day virtual interactive conference experience around Yom HaShoah, not as a virtual March of the Living, but based on its extraordinary work.
We able to extend this to include partners who are part of the March of the Living, so that kids in Los Angeles can interact with kids in Poland and Israel and Boston and Canada and all other localities, to make sure that as close as possible we could have a virtual March of the Living experience.
For students to connect with Holocaust survivors is first and foremost very important for the redesign. For students to connect with Jewish history, of course, is also very important. But we also want to have students and give students the space to think about what this history means to them as individuals. What does it mean to them as leaders in the Jewish community or future leaders of the Jewish community? What does it mean to the larger story and narrative of global Jewish history, of Los Angeles Jewish history, and where do we go moving forward?
Being with survivors and seeing how deeply they want to go on the march. They want to share and transmit their stories and their wisdom to the next generation. And we want to bear witness to their courage and their heroism, their struggle, and their loss.
Whether they come from a family that experienced the Holocaust personally or just a member of the Jewish community, how this is a shared and important history for us to kind of hold as one and look towards future generations and us becoming the stewards and the legacy of this history.
Hearing from survivors, Elie Wiesel said, when you hear a witness, you become a witness. And these young adults who are part of this conference will be living out those words in the most profound way possible.
Guys, students, take advantage of it, and treat it as a double journey, a journey outward, even if you're sitting in your chair at home, and a journey inward into the depth of your soul.